Sipping away at his bourbon, Jake Glasser contemplated his life at the broken-down hut of a bar that he was sitting in. The bartender came over to check if he needed another glass. "Yeah, hand me another, would ya?" The bartender passed him another glass with a look of concern upon his face. Jake had already had 10 glasses. Suddenly, they heard gunshots from outside. Then the window shattered as a man in a black suit burst through them. Tumbling on the shattered glass-filled floor, the man had bruises and cuts all over his body. Although his body looked beaten to a pulp, the man rushed over to Jake and grabbed him by the collar. "We have to go now," the man exclaimed. Though Jake was drop-dead drunk, he knew this wasn't a normal occurrence. Jake was confused as to what was happening. "Hey, sorry man, but I think you've got the wrong man," he drunkenly hiccuped. "You're Jake, right?" the man inquired. Jake nodded. "There's a group of men tracking you down and are going to kill you if we don't." Just then, a group of 3 men dressed in crimson-red suits burst through the door. They started forward towards Jake, but were cut off by the man in the red suit. "Move out of the way, Bartley. We'll take care of this scumbag," one of the men in red sneered. "No, I know what you have planned, and I will not let that happen as long as I live," Bartley snapped. Excuse me, but I think you guys got the wrong man, so I'm just gonna go now." Jake stumbles up from his chair, but was stopped as what appeared to be the leader of the Crimson crew shot a bullet out of his gun. The bullet barely missed him and flew into the glasses of alcohol behind the counter of the bar. Glass and liquid filled the floor now. Jake turned his head towards the man in crimson with a look of enragement. "Nobody messes with the alcohol," he said flatly, and charged at the 3 men. He picked up a bar stool and hit the leader across the jaw. The man dropped to the ground in pain. The other 2 were baffled. One reached for his gun, but Bartley was faster. He shot one of the men in the knee and then grabbed Jake and jumped back out the window. Jake was once again confused by the turn of events as he was dragged by the arm by Bartley. They ran into a deserted alleyway and hid behind a disgusting, huge, green trash can. Jake turned to Bartley with a look of bewilderment. "What in the Hello Kitty just happened?" he exclaimed. "Those people in the crimson-red suits were there to kill you. I just saved your life," Bartley stated, with an air of accomplishment around him. "Yeah, I know that, you dingus, but why are they after me?" Jake exclaimed in anger. Bartley rushed to cover Jake's mouth with his hand. "Shh! They'll hear you." Bartley put a finger over his mouth to signal him to be quiet. "I think you know full well why they're after you." Jake gave a face of bewilderment as he shoved Bartley's hand off his mouth. "No, Jake was cut off when he heard footsteps of the 3 men running to find him. "I think they went this way," one yelled to the other 2, and they continued to run past them. When they knew they were far enough away from them, Jake and Bartley got up from behind the dumpster. "I still don't know what I did to make them come after me." Confused by all the things that had happened, Jake looked around to see if the men were coming back. "You really don't know what you did?" Bartley asked. "No!" Jake exclaimed once more. "Remember Isabel?" Bartley inquired. Jake's face suddenly became as white as a ghost. He swallowed harshly. "How do you know Isabel?" "She was the boss's daughter," Bartley said gravely. "And you killed her. Now the boss is looking for revenge."